Welcome to the Raw and Real of Real Estate podcast, powered by LPT Realty, Real Estate Reimagined, with your host, the one and only Betsy Tinnervin. On this podcast, we bring you people who share their personal journeys in life, business, and of course, real estate. Get motivated, inspired, and priceless information from entrepreneurs, community leaders, and realtors who are thriving. Now let's get raw and real. Here's Betsy.
Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinnervin. And if you are listening today, you are going to get A-class first rating LPT agents in the studio. I am so excited that all of our listeners continue to listen every single week as we bring you the raw and real of real estate, business, entrepreneurship, and of course, the number one agents with the fastest growing brokerage, LPT Realty. Want to give a shout out to Robert Palmer and the executive LPT staff for making all of this happen. We could not do this without you. There is no other brokerage that is allowing their agents to have radio time, billboards, giving you 168 pieces of free marketing material on every listing. So today we are going to highlight three special people, and I'm going to kick it off with Yvonne Reyes with the Lux Group. She focuses on Tampa, Orlando, and Miami. Hi, Miss Yvonne. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you so very much for having me today.
I am so excited that I have you in the studio today because I just spoke at the mastermind on being authentic. And I think that you have done a really good job focusing on your brand. So if you just want to tell the listeners, who exactly is the Lux Group?
The Lux Group, man, the Lux is exactly that. We are definitely relationship builders. We hold ourselves with integrity. We love everything luxury, but we work to elevate to get there, and we support one another to get there.
I love that. And so you basically have a team of agents in the Tampa Bay area, and you are training them, you are mentoring them, you are helping give them brand awareness. And then just like you said, even though you're the Lux Group, you don't just focus on luxury, you are there to help the first-time home buyer.
Oh, most definitely. Gotta never forget where you come from.
I love that. And next I have Miss Patty Bosco. She is down on the West Coast area in Longboat Key, in Manatee, and Sarasota County. How are you, Miss Patty?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Perfect. And I know that you've been in this industry a long time. Give me a little gist of some of your passions and purpose in the real estate field.
Yeah, 25 years. It's been like surreal. And being back here in the studio, it's like we've done this before. 25 years, 1999, I bought one of the first exit real estate franchises, and thinking I was going to get McDonald's-like systems, because real estate is very all-encompassing and it needs to be strategized and
for sure
systematized. And left that, was independent, tried to retire, shed my renter parka up in Michigan, came down to Florida and did rehabs and actually tried to retire. But here I am. When I found LPT, got the phone call from my good friend Vince. I'm like, wow, this is everything that I had envisioned, the systems that Robert Palmer has put together. It's like my vision's on steroids.
I love that. That's amazing. I think it's so cool to see just kind of the circle of life evolve in everyone's careers, and then how we have so many different people within LPT culture that are in each phases of their career and each phases of kind of finding their purpose in real estate. I love that. We are so happy that you are here. The one and only Sean Weatherington. You can't get away from me, Sean. It's like you have to see me with our team. You have to see me doing deals with me. And then you have to see me on the radio. So you either are blessed or cursed, right?
Well, proof that there's too much of a good thing is still a good thing. So
I love that. So Sean, give the listeners out there, who are you and what is your primary focus?
My name is Sean Weatherington. I'm part of the Tampa Bay Investments team and the Miami International Investments team. And we focus on the development of agents at all different skill levels, everything from entry level to people who are looking to scale to high producers. And one of the ways in which we do so is we focus very heavily on the analysis and identification of income producing assets, specifically multifamily operations. And it's just it's a great tool to add to any type of agent's real estate quiver because it develops consistency in their income flow.
So everyone out there listening, I know there's 255,000 realtors in the state of Florida, but you have 3 first-class ones in front of you, and we are going to touch a little bit with all of them on where they're at in their real estate career. For all the realtors out there listening that may not be with LPT and want more information, please reach out to one of them. We also are going to dive deep into today's market and what's happening, what we project to happen, and why now is still a good time to buy, and definitely why now is a good time to purchase an asset, not a liability. So I'm going to turn to you, Miss Yvonne, and I want you to just talk to everybody about what your plans are for 2023 with the Lux Group.
Man, big things ahead. Stay tuned. You know, we're definitely working on building some things on TV just to get out there, get our brand out there, supporting one another. But most definitely, our group is really pushing, and they've been working diligently and hard every day in the midst of, we got our listing seller agents, we got our buyer agents, door knocking, building connections with new home sales, making sure we're consistent and follow up. Follow up is crucial in our industry, and building relationships. We are in a relationship building industry. So that's one thing. And we're literally closing the ears to the outsayers and just staying focused.
I love that. I think that building relationships is key. And I think that everybody right now, it kind of is like what I've talked about before the pandemic, is this recession is going to weed out the amateurs and the people that just put their heads down and grind and keep building those pipelines. Every time there's a breakdown, there's a breakthrough. So I love that you're inspiring your agents. You're also hanging in tough with your clients. And I can't wait to see what the Lux Group does in 2023. Glad to be a part of it. Sean, why now is a good time to really get focused on certifying yourself as an agent in different areas, for instance, short sales, foreclosures, and getting ready for that transition that we're seeing in the market? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, one of the things that Robert Palmer does very well is when you're at the peak, you're planning for the trough, and when you're at the trough, you're planning for the peak. You know, so right now, arguably, some people say we're at a trough part of the industry. I disagree, but the mentality states that we're planning for the future, and we're making sure that our systems and our efforts are aligned towards maximizing that time when you're at the peak.
I love that. And Miss Patty, I know that you get to be in the fun space where you get to see the water and the beach and all the cool things. I love that Longboat Key area. I actually sold a condo over there, and it was one of like my favorite properties that I sold. I mean, it is like literally like a private beach space, Anna Maria Island, even now into like Sarasota and Manatee. I just feel like there's so much development going over there. Talk a little bit about that market and just what you see happening as we shift into the new year.
Well, definitely there's a lot of changes. First of all, the demographics. A lot of those people have been there. They're 80 plus years old. When COVID happened, a lot of them just packed up and went and moved back with their extended families that they had to go live with.
For sure.
There's a lot of Brady Bunch looking insides. A lot of remodeling that's going to have to be done on a lot of the older units. On Longboat Key specifically, there's 79 condo associations, condo specific subdivisions. And out of those 79, the majority of them were built before 1980, 1970. So there's a lot of rules and regulations. Fees are going up 30%. So it is the perfect shift for investors to come in and do rehabs. Perfect.
For sure. And I also think it just proves even more, Patty, why it's so important to have an agent to guide you through that process. When you have 79 different HOA associations, how critical is it to have a Longboat Key kind of native like yourself help them through that process? I think that's amazing.
And everything is different. Can they have dogs? What's their, rental policy? Are they gated? Are they not? I mean, we have Excel spreadsheets that has tons of different variables in each and every single one. That's very important to know. So if you're an investor going in, so what I do a lot of off-market undervalued properties.
Perfect.
In the heyday, it was, had to stand in line to even get a good, it wasn't even a good deal if you have to stand in line. So I went out and started finding a lot of
let's not give them all the secrets before the break now. So if someone wants to contact you, Patty, in reference to the area, Manatee, Sarasota, Longboat, any type of investments going on, could you give them your cell phone number?
941 888-400-9835.
And Miss Yvonne Reyes with the Lux Group. Give everyone those digits.
Can we do Instagram and then they can DM me?
You can. It's just hard when people are driving.
Oh, okay. So 813-539-7227. You can find me on Instagram at Yvonne Reyes _Realtor. DM me.
And Sean, give everyone your phone number if they want to connect with you on any type of investments.
386-848-7241.
After the break, we are going to come back at you with what we see and our forecast going into 2023. We know that everyone has been told to, buy the house, date the rate, et cetera, but people want to know the raw and real of what we think is going to happen in this market. And it's very cool to see 3 different realtors here, different phases in their careers, and different kind of niche focused on what they're trying to do. So we're going to dive deep with each one of them and talk about different types of real estate, what we see happening in the market, and give you some tips and tricks on what you should look out for. You're not going to want to miss the next segment. Download the iHeartRadio app, and I'll catch you after the break.
The best comp plans ever and stock and revenue share, but if we're not closing real estate transactions, all of that is worthless, because ultimately everything starts with a real estate transaction, which starts with a consumer. And so we wanted to arm our agents with the absolute best technology and best marketing tools to do more real estate. And that's, again, I think a big differentiator. I think very few brokerages really sit down and say, how do we provide tools to make sure that our agents can be more productive, sell more real estate, win more listings, win at more listing appointments, help more buyers find that home. And we're very focused on that. And so while we have the best comp plans and the best ways for agents to generate wealth and earn, we also have the best tools, and more importantly, I would say have the best tools to help you be successful in real estate.
Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show, and today I am your host, Betsy Tinervin, and I have 3 amazing agents in the room. We gave you a brief recap in segment 1 if you missed us. Sean Weatherington, the Tampa Bay Investments team, Yvonne Reyes with the Lux Group, and Patty Bosco of the Longboat Key area. We have touched on with all of them. It's really interesting to see what happens when we do these shows, as LPT tries to be the catalyst and the connector in the real estate community, not only with community members and potential business owners, but with different agents showcasing what makes them authentic. So we're going to kind of circle back through a little bit. And the first topic that we're going to talk about is just 2023. To all the listeners out there, I know that we all get asked the famous question, is now a good time to buy? Is now a good time to invest? What do you think is going to happen in the market? So I'm going to ask these 3 some tough questions and let them answer their raw and real opinions. For everyone out there, we do not script the show. We try to make it raw and real. So go easy on my agents now, because we are literally just going to throw questions at them, let them answer, and hopefully you will have some great takeaways after this segment. So Sean, I'm going to start with you. Why in today's market, if a DSCR loan rate is, 7-8%, why is it still a good time to buy an investment property?
Well, I think it's always still a great time to buy an investment property because it's a long-term play as opposed to a short-term play. So, when you're talking about investing in real estate, most people are not looking to get in and get out. This is not like a flip or anything like that. You're looking to invest in your assets to generate cash flow and to stabilize your income, so to speak. But I think that, like you always say, real estate is the sexiest investment ever. I just think that there's no better time than to invest in real estate.
Could not agree with you more. Real estate is definitely the end game at the beginning, and most of the time we are clearly investing in an asset, not a liability. You just can't go wrong. Like anyone in the investment space now that's hitting the easy button and thinking, yes, I'm going to win big at the casino. I'm going to make all this money in crypto. The investing in real estate, like that is not being taken away from you. Like appreciation hasn't stopped, which leads me into this infamous area, Miss Patty, the Manatee, Sarasota, Longboat Key, Anna Maria Island area. A lot of the people in Tampa are not an expert, so that does make you stand out in that area as an agent. What do you say to the people that are looking to buy maybe a luxury condo or a piece of real estate in the $3, $4, $5 million range in that area? Why is that area appreciating? Why is it a hot place in the market? Explain to them a little bit about all of the doubts. Like everyone has these doubts. I'm not going to buy an expensive piece of property right now because at the same token, like Sean just mentioned, we go back to what interest rates are on a traditional loan right now, and you're looking at 7%. So tell me a little bit about what makes this area special and why it is still a good time to buy there.
What makes it special is it's definitely been a little underrated. I know Siesta Beach has always been number one up there, but Longboat Key, Anna Maria, Lido has definitely been underrated. So the billionaires are kicking out the millionaires in Naples, and the millionaires are coming and now discovering my little neck of the woods. And
I love Lido. I heard some really good things about Lido Beach.
yeah, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So it's going to be a Naples one day. A Naples it's just beautiful. It's interesting in regards to the buyers are two different kinds of buyers. We touched on at the first segment, the undervalued off-market undervalued properties that investors can come in to rehab. But the people with cash that are buying $2, $3, $4, $5 million homes, typically, they're not financing. First of all, these are second homes, but they don't want to come in and do a project. They don't want to do rehab. It's a pain in the butt. People don't show up. This is Florida. Latitude goes with the attitudes. So that's a huge market. So I can find an older person that's transitioning, that's been in the condo, owned the family. The family's owned the condo for years. It looks like Brady Bunch when you walk in. Come in there, scoop it up, renovate it, and then we'll have the cash buyers that aren't going anywhere. These people, they're not going anywhere. They don't care about interest rates per se. Actually, it's even better because if the stock market does bad, before the stock market was doing so bad, they would go and do mortgages because they didn't want to take their money out of the stock market. Now they want to take it out and secure it, and something as secure as real estate is, it's not going anywhere.
For sure. I couldn't agree more. I think that also leads us into Miss Yvonne. I know that basically there's just a competitive edge in the real estate world, right?
Yes.
And especially with women in real estate. I think that people get it very twisted who is necessarily your competition versus who is somebody that you can kind of network with. So let's talk about what you want to tell agents who are looking for a good fit on a team, why you help these agents kind of build their brand, why you've chosen the brand The Lux Group. Just kind of talk about that a little bit.
One thing that's very big to me, and I tell agents, get out there networking as your network is your net worth, and just being able to collaborate and get with mentors. I've learned from day one, I've always wanted to be in the rooms where they're doing better than me. So why not follow the right cat instead of spending thousands? As you know, we spent thousands on coaching. And this is what a lot of new agents coming on board, they don't understand until they get in there and they're like, oh my gosh, and they're lost. And that's my purpose. And I notice as the years go, we can kind of get detoured on what everybody else wants for you, but then you have to sit back and you have to stay true to who you are. And my purpose is to really educate and help agents so they're not making the same mistakes that I made or that other made. But literally, collaboration is key, and collaborate with the right people.
I love the word collaboration. I think it's so great just to see everybody with LPT collaborating together. And let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about the resources as a brokerage that we have to offer agents. Sean, what is your favorite thing that we receive with LPT?
Listing power tools, hands down. It is the secret sauce when it comes to separating yourself from other listing agents. Like Robert says, it's capturing the 14%, and it's all about, marketing that property and putting it in front of people that otherwise weren't looking. And when you're able to do that and position your clients in spaces where nobody else can operate, that makes you second to none.
I love that. And Patty, being a previous exit franchise owner, why LPT? Why bring your business to this brokerage? Like, why did you feel like it was a good transition for you?
Number one, Robert has the marketing systems in play. He's got the radio stations already purchasing air, the billboards. He's bootlegging this from his own money. He's going to do it with or without me. I'm very blessed to be here, and I'm very excited to see how this is all going to come together.
For sure. I definitely appreciate that. I agree. The marketing is super key for any agent. And Yvonne, what is it for you with LPT?
Man, it's the whole package, from the listing packs to, I've actually interviewed radio stations. People don't realize it's like $25,000 just to have a segment. That's huge. So for us to have the opportunity to be here and brand ourselves and push, which I'm huge on marketing and I help agents brand, this is impeccable, and I'm so forever grateful. So anybody that is looking to have that support, not only virtually, but in person, LPT is for you.
And could you give them your phone number, Miss Yvonne, if they are interested in contacting you?
Yes, 813-539-7227. Serious inquiries only, please.
And Patty, could you give your phone number, please, if someone is interested in contacting you?
941-400-9835.
And Sean, give out those digits.
386-848-7241.
We appreciate everybody out there listening, and again want to reiterate what an awesome collaboration, as I steal that word from Miss Yvonne, that we have at LPT Realty. We truly look at each other as catalysts and connectors in the community, not competitors. We want to let you know that if you are interested in being an LPT agent, you can feel free to reach out to any of the agents on the show. If you're interested in just learning about a market, buyer, seller, and investor, please reach out to one of the agents. We try to highlight them and let the world know what expert they are in their fields. And I want to kick it back really quick to you, Sean, before we go to the break on investments. I think that we have a class tomorrow.
Yes, we've got a class tomorrow where we get to dive real deep into the investment world and see how, the analysis of income producing assets can really help you to drive your business as a real estate agent.
We love that. We love to mentor and teach, and that is a free class tomorrow. It is a lunch and learn. Lunch is provided on investment analysis. Reach out to Sean if you are interested in attending. We're going to go ahead and pay some bills, and we will catch you after the break.
Biggest win, I think, with the dual path and having these two models is that now we become a brokerage for everyone. No matter where you are in your real estate career, what your goals are today. Maybe today you're not interested in recruiting or having a team, but then one day you wake up and you are. Well, if you're at the wrong brokerage to do that, you're locked in. Where in our model, we're not holding anyone hostage. We're not tying anyone in. You can move between the different comp plans and have that success and really achieve whatever your definition of success is under one brokerage platform, being LPT.
Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinervin, and today we are with three key LPT agents discussing all things market, all things being authentic, and we are actually touching on three different areas. So in this segment, we are going to touch a little bit about what they think is going to happen in the upcoming months with the market. I know that all the listeners out there have the famous question, should we buy now? What do you think is going to happen? And although we are not psychics, we wish we were, we can tell you tips and tricks and just a few couple gems that may help you in your buying decisions. So at the break, Patty, you mentioned that real estate was one of the oldest professions. Kind of touch on that a little bit and explain to me what you were going to talk about.
Yeah, it's not rocket science. There are definitely cycles to everything. Cycle of life. This is not the first time we've seen the adjustments of interest rates. Prices, supply and demand, it's basic economics. Prices go up when there's less supply. Prices go down when there's more demand. So it's going to wash out. The interest rates, along with navigating it with a really good facilitator, there's options. There's going to be more money available, not just from the big banks. There's going to be a lot of owner financing going on. Why would grandma take out her $500,000 cash to go and transition and live in a nursing home? She can get cash flow on a periodical basis and do owner financing. And that would be a win-win. She might not be that same house. She might have maybe could have gotten for $700,000, maybe now only for $650,000. It's just all supply. It's basic economics.
For sure. I definitely think that the market's shifting, and I definitely think that in Florida, it speaks for itself. You know, there's 1,000 people a day moving to Orlando. Tampa Bay is now the third metro market in the country. We haven't built enough homes over the last 10 years. And since we are an apex market now, and we were prior to the seller's market, rents are rising and the value of real estate is rising. And it's rising at a rapid rate. So I'm going to turn to you, Sean. Market predictions, market analysis. This is the $1 million question, kid.
Well, I just circling back to what Patty said. I mean, this industry is very cyclical. You have peaks and you have troughs. You have buyers markets. You have sellers markets. It's no different. What's different is the choice that you make for the people that represent you. You see, I'm actually really excited about this market because our interest rate's going to rise. Yes, it's just going to happen. So being prepared for that and being represented in a manner that's second to none is really key, you know, because it's going to wash out all the people that for the last 3 or 4 years who basically just put a sign in the yard and sold these properties, you know, real quick. Now it's going to be a little bit more balanced. You're going to have to, you know, there's going to be buyer negotiations. There's a lot more of our craft that's going to need to be present with the people that represent you. So real critical is just to decide who you want to associate yourself, who you want to network with in this real estate field is going to separate you from everybody else.
Most
I think that is like a huge thing, Sean, when we talk about being not a jack of all trades and an expert at one. You know, I think it's really important as an agent, and we talk about this a lot, is to consistently contribute to research and education. As an agent, what are the things that you do on a consistent basis to stay an expert in your market?
What do I do? Well, I'm continuously plugged in with people that are smarter than I am. I can tell you that. I like to read a lot. I like to attend classes, CE credits, anything that's not just generalized, but specific to what it is I'm doing. I mean, I work in the investment space. I also am an investor myself. So I am constantly looking for things to sharpen the saw, to make me more of a valuable asset to be around and more of a conduit to relay that knowledge to people who might need it.
I love that. And obviously, Yvonne, I think that one thing that I've just kind of watched you master over time is really taking the time to brand yourself and talk about why you're authentic. And I think that you and I have had conversations about when you really merge what you do with your passion, that is when you are fire, man.
Yes.
And so I see now that you're kind of pivoting and doing some different things. So talk about your passion and purpose in real estate and just what you see happening in the next couple months and going into 2023. What do you want to tell the listeners about?
So I know I can't, but I am a believer. So I'm grateful for my main God every day, because there has, even just yesterday, I had closing back to back. And when all the naysayers were like, oh, it's not going to get done, I knew it was going to get done. It's about matter of staying in the game, thinking out the box, fighting for your clients, not giving up, and having those resources. And that's where collaboration and networking definitely comes into hand, making sure you have the right resources in your hands. But 2023, guys, listen, do not be the clients that were calling me and saying, dang, Yvonne, I wish I listened to you last year, you know, because the interest rates now are up and the prices didn't go down as much as they opposed to. Here by March, from my heavy haysayers are definitely saying we're going to be up there in the 12. So if you find a house, lock it in now. Do not wait.
I think that you're correct in what you're saying is basically when, you know, interest rates go up, which they will.
Yes.
That in reality, you know, before maybe they were a little less, but people were definitely overpaying in the market.
Yes.
And now just because interest rates have increased a little bit, you will still have an opportunity to refi out. And I also think it's really cool that we've started to talk about, and lucky that we are a part of LPT, we've brought people on the show to talk about the buy down rates and to talk about also seller buy down rates. Are you using any of those type of loans? And do you want to share a little bit about that?
Oh, most definitely. It's about, again, thinking out the box, right? Instead of purchasing the home at today's using seller credits, it's definitely a buyer's market right now. Sellers definitely, like the seller financing, really thinking out the box, making it happen for both parties. Definitely utilizing the buy down and or their zero track plans with financing. So you don't need, it's not a first time home buyer program. They have zero down in several areas. I know Regions happens to be one of the banks that offers it, but definitely just make sure you're targeting and utilizing all the resources that are out there.
I agree 100%. And I think it's really important to have those vendors in place to where we really can solve problems for buyers, sellers, and investors from the beginning to the end for sure. I think that that's like uber important. I know that being in the industry for 25 years, Patty, you have consistent people that are a part of your network and vendors that you have used for a long time. Why is it critical for a buyer or a seller investor to work with someone who has a group of vendors in place that they've already vetted out and have used them repeatedly in the business?
Well, it's crucial. For over a few decades now, maybe a lot of decades, over 27 years, I have been obsessed with cracking the code to build a real sustainable real estate business and helping my clients along the way. Offer consistent income freedom, flexibility, not only, as a career, but for my clients that are investors. And what I have done most recently, which is definitely tap into those resources with the Chamber of Commerce. I'm going old school. I'm going back to the streets, and actually it's going to be called RealEstateCareer.com, and interview people, find out what their challenges are. That's where we get the information, is staying connected, having authentic conversations, building those relationships, because that's easier to navigate what you can see and what you're feeling in the pulse of the communication in the community and your affiliates than it is to just go blinded.
100%. I couldn't agree more. Sean, if someone's looking to connect with you, could you please give your phone number?
386-848-7241.
And Miss Patty, if someone is looking to connect with you, could you please give out your phone number?
941-400-9835.
And Miss Yvonne Reyes with the Lux Group, give them those digits.
813-539-7227.
It kills you that I make you give that phone number.
Serious inquiries only, please.
It just kills you. It kills you that I make you give that phone number. I tell people on the show all the time, and like listeners, you have to love that. I tell people, like, they might be driving, they might be like at the gym, they might be doing something, and people want to rattle off these emails and these Instagrams, and like, can you imagine someone like crashing their car because they're trying to write down
please don't do that.
See what I'm saying?
This is the raw and real of radio. I wish we had a camera that showed the horror that Yvonne said when Betsy's like, give us the phone number.
So great. I love it. I truly appreciate all the listeners out there. We want you to connect with all these agents. We're here to promote them and empower them in their business. We want to give a huge shout out to LPT Realty and Robert Palmer for making all of this possible. We love that we can be a catalyst and connector in the community and really bring you the raw and the real of business, entrepreneurship, and just bring members of the community together. Today we have 3 rock star LPT agents on the show, focusing anywhere from investments down to the Longboat Key area, coming up to being a team lead and mentoring other agents. We just love that this show is possible. We're going to come back at you with our final segment this week and summarize some secret sauces. So if you are interested in more fabulous information, we can't wait to speak to you after the break. We're going to pay some bills and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, and we hope that you are having a fabulous weekend this weekend. This is Betsy Tinervin with the Tampa Bay Investments team and LPT Realty. We are here to bring you the raw and real of real estate, where we bring you everything from community leaders in the Tampa Bay area to people really giving back and serving in the community. Today, we have 3 LPT agents, and we are talking all things real estate. Just to circle back, if you have missed the last couple segments, we have kind of talked about our predictions for what is going to happen in the market in 2023 and just watching the real estate game and play as a whole kind of shift. We touched a little bit about on why it is still a good time to buy and, quite frankly, invest, especially in our thriving market. If you look at Tampa Bay as a whole, all you listeners out there, we have so many great tech hubs coming in our community, even over in St. Pete in some of the areas that are considered CRA districts or redevelopment communities. We have Amazon. We have Tesla. We have big time players dropping themselves straight into our area. And we couldn't be more proud to be here in the community with you. I think something that was mentioned this week that we haven't touched on is just what happens when you are really serving other people with zero expectation. I think it's important that as a real estate agent, we talk on the show all the time about how it's really about building relationships with people. You have to be able to be known. You have to have people that trust you, and you have to have people that like you. And I think when you serve other people and you're truly there to help as an asset and as a community member, it just makes you shine above the rest. Our fearless leader, Robert Palmer himself, dove deep with the Special Olympics and several other organizations where he shined because he was serving and donating without any expectation. So I'm going to dive deep with Yvonne, Patty, and Sean about serving without expectation and how they do that with agents possibly on their teams or as community members or with their clients. So I'm going to turn to you, Patty. How do you serve without expectation?
Well, there's a famous book by John Maxwell. I'm a certified trainer with John Maxwell. It's Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. How I serve is I listen, and I would do what I would do for myself and guide them through what their needs and their desires are. Recently, I had a client move down as a retired New York City police detective, and he was on some pretty big cases up there representing the union. And it was a power 2 days of looking and securing and losing a couple houses. He looked at me, he goes, I have never, ever had a real estate agent do what you did. And it was like, heartbreaking. And then, you have agents or clients that are like, oh, I'm sorry, it's taken so much time. It's like, no. I only get paid for 20% of the time that I do. 80% looks like it might be a waste of the time. But when I do get paid, that 20% is not too bad of a paycheck. And what I can do and accomplish for my agents to have somebody at that caliber who's been on a stand with some unbelievable people in history look at me and tell me he's never had anybody serve him and service the job that needed to be done with him in that way.
I love that. I think when we serve our clients, we are definitely here to provide solutions to problems. When I teach and train agents, I talk to them all the time about you are to find out someone's motivation and their need, and then you are to provide a solution and a service. And I think that when you over deliver and your customer base, you win on all angles, because what we don't want to do is overpromise and underdeliver. And I think when you set yourself apart as an agent and you're there to serve without expectation, you really stand out. So I definitely appreciate
authentic
everything that you just said, Patty. That was great. So Sean, personal life, professional life, investment space, just in our community, how do you serve without expectation in the real estate space?
Well, to piggyback a little bit off of what Patty just talked about, I churn through books, and one of the books that I've used that helped me throughout my career is a book called Raving Fans. Raving Fans is all about exceeding people's expectations. When you seek to exceed their expectations, you will definitely generate long-standing relationships. And this applies to both, the clients that I service, but also to the peers and coworkers that we help to guide down that path. So, you talked a little bit also about coaching and teaching agents up. I just feel that it's incumbent for us, for agents that have been doing this for a little while, to bestow and bequeath some of the knowledge through that school of hard knocks that we've all been through to make it a better place for future agents to see. You have to have that servant mentality to do that. So that's kind of how I navigate that space.
What I love too, Sean, about when we serve without expectation, I just got done helping an agent put some systems and processes in place. And what I really honestly did was helped myself, because when you hold other people accountable, you have to repeat through all the steps that you should be practicing on a regular basis. And you go, man, that was a reality check for me, So I also think that when you serve without expectation, you find all these cool things happen, things that you didn't expect, things that, because you have no expectation. So things are happening that you don't expect, and then they snowball into these other things. And that definitely leads me to, you, Yvonne, because it's crazy how we met. And then all the networks that we had no idea about. So Yvonne Reyes shows up in the studio one day, and I have no idea who this lady is. And it's like she's like my fan club. Like, she's got her phone out and she's like taping me, and she's like, yes, and she's nodding her head. And it was directly across me, and it was so cool to see. And afterwards, I'm like, do you know me? And what'd you say, Yvonne? You're like, nope. But I do now. And it was funny because you were like, I just thought we were going to come and like check out how the show went. And then you saw the show and you're like, wow, dude, like I want to be a part of this. And then we started talking and we realized that we went to the same church. Yes. And we had Xavier as kind of a coexisting person as far as building credit for our clients and all these different things. So in just getting to know you, it's been so fun to see, and just even the little text that you sent me today just means a lot. So I really want to kind of showcase to people how you currently right now are serving without expectation, and just in any space, your agents, yourself personally, like shoot your shot, man.
That's what I'm here for. Again, being true to your purpose and plan. It took me a while to really learn about being intentional. Unfortunately, not until I was, not to put my age out there, but 40, that I really learned to understand, as I say, given to others, it shall be given to you 100-fold. And
amen.
When you really put that in all aspects of your life, not just career, personal, everything, it comes naturally. My uncle, he's my hero. He's like, Yvonne, I've been giving more, 80% to my family, finances, everything, but that's why it comes back to me naturally. He doesn't even think about it. And that's always stuck with me. And that's why I will never lose the true me. And I will always give, because these streets is hard. You come in by yourself, you don't know. Oh yeah, you're gonna be rolling the toughest. So it's best you connect with somebody that you're in alignment with. Make sure you know your why. If your why don't make you cry, then you need to revisit it. And just make sure you connect with the right team and just build your business from there.
And watching you just talk about your uncle getting, tears in your eyes and just seeing like how deep that is for you. It's crazy to me what's happened. I counted how many shows that I have done since months and months and months ago, and just the people that I get to really see on the show. And so the listeners can't see, you, but they hear you. And I think that if I'm going to steal that too. If your why doesn't make you cry, it's not your why.
Yeah.
And so I love that you are sharing that. I love that you are passionate about it. When you really get to see someone's passion and purpose collide, it is a magical thing. And it must be a 40 thing, right? Because I'm going to be 40. I'm going to be 40 in March. And I totally revamped what I'm doing. And, as always, I love that I've gotten to ride this wave with you, Sean, for sure. I think that we, jumped around a little bit to figure out where we fit in culture-wise. And finally, with LPT, we have. And Patty, good to have met you and kind of gotten a little bit to know what you do and what drives your bus. I think that it's important in this business to really dig deep and figure out like who we are as people, And I think that that's like privy to what everyone in life is trying to do in business. So let everyone hear your phone numbers and hear how they can contact you if they are interested. Sean, how can they contact you?
386-848-7241.
Perfect. Miss Patty, how can the listeners contact you?
941-400-9835.
Awesome. Miss Yvonne, how can they contact you?
You guys can reach the Lux Group at 727-489-4211. Save that one for the books.
I love that you are like empowered by your phone number now, because it only took us the whole entire show, Patty and Sean, to get her there. Now she's proud and loud to say it. We appreciate everyone being with us today. We have truly enjoyed sharing all of our wealth of knowledge about real estate. And we thank Patty Bosco, Yvonne Reyes, and Sean Wetherington for sharing all of their knowledge, wisdom, and who they are in the real estate industry. We cannot wait to be with you next weekend. And we are officially signing off.
Thanks for listening to the Raw and Real of Real Estate podcast, powered by LPT Realty, Real Estate Reimagined. We hope this episode motivated and inspired you. And don't forget to rate and review us. Thanks again for listening to the Raw and Real of Real Estate podcast with Betsy Tinervin.